I'm Katie.
And I'm Cassandra, coming at you live from Channel 7 News. Today's segment is all about the Devonian period.
One of the main events during the Devonian period was the Devonian mass extinction.
Marine species suffered the most.
Coral and reefs vanished entirely.
There was a decline in worldwide coral reef building, and there was no more until the Triassic period.
It was thought to be changes in sea level, asteroid impacts, climate change, and new kinds of plants affecting the soil may be some reasons for the causes of the extinctions.
Much of the seabeds entirely lacked oxygen. 3/4 of all species died out in this mass extinction. And now, on to the weather.
The Devonian period was warm, arid, and dry. It was filled with forests, plants, swamps, lakes, oceans, and other bodies of water. My first favorite plant is the Cameo-dendron. Its group is lycophytes. Its size is about 5 feet high and its location is China. The meaning of Cameo-dendron is dwarf tree. It belongs to the group of lycophytes and it had fork leafites arranged spirally around their stems. It was initially low growing. Its descendants included great trees. As these plants grew taller, they evolved features to give the sport, including a woody stem.
And my first favorite is the Archaeotetris from the group Prognosperms. Its size is 26 feet high and 5 feet thick. It's located worldwide. It was the first to have formed forests on a truly global scale. They have dense wood and they're regular tree leaves. Studies began in the second half of the 19th century. It was thought to belong to a low-growing fern.
Another plant during the Devonian period is the Protaxes. Their group was fungi and they could grow up to about 26 feet high, and their location was worldwide. It was once thought to be rotting wood in 1850 by John William Dawson. Under a microscope, it resembled a plant with tubes that run vertically. The tubes are thinner than one strand of human hair. It has been interpreted kelp-like alga, a lichen, and most recently a giant fruiting body of fungus.
Another one of my favorites is Horneophyte from the group Rhinophytes. It's 8 inches high and it's located in Scotland. The fossil showed 2 unique features. As it shows on the screen, it had the swollen stemmed base and the lobe spore producing organs that were called sporangia. The lobes are cylinder with central interior columns, and the spore is free-living, which is an evolutionary breakthrough absent in other mosses. They grew in miniature thickets on damp ground.
Another plant is the Elcanisa. Its group is a primate seed plant. Its size is about 3 feet to 3 inches high. Its location is the United States of America. It made a great turning point in evolution. It was one of the earliest known plants known to produce seeds. The straggling stems had 2 different kinds of fronds. One spread out to catch the light, while others divided into fine branches which ended in structured capsules. Capsules contained seeds arranged in groups of 4, each seed 1/4 inch long. Unlike simple spores, the seeds are complex packages of living cells containing food reserves and an embryo plant.
Another plant from the Devonian period that is one of my favorites is the Zostrophylla from the group Zostrophyllates. The size is 10 inches high and they're located worldwide. They were preserved in fine-grained rock as it shows on the screen right now. The fossils were found all over for this plant. They first appeared in the Silurian period. Many different species evolved during the Devonian of the Zostrophylla. They covered large areas of damp, low-lying ground. First, they were thought to be Zostra, or eelgrass, which is one of the few flowering plants that grow in the sea. We now know that they are not at all closely related to this. They may have been ancestors of lycopods. The plant that grew included the giant club mosses.
A really cool fish during this period was a Dunkelsues. It was a placoderm fish and it was 8 to 10 meters long. Its predators were probably nothing. It lived through the late Devonian 370 to 360 million years ago. It looked like a violent brute. It was powerfully built and it lacked teeth. It had 2 bony blades. They could snap and break almost anything. Pigment cells suggest it had dark colors on its back and was silvery on its belly. It ate fish, sharks, even its own kind. seemed that they suffered from indigestion. May have been one of the earliest animals to exist as male or female, meaning the pairs of fish had to mate physically. It was an active hunter in the shallow seas.
Another one is the Paralogyrus from the group Arthropods. Its size is 6 inches long, the size of your hand, and it's located in Europe, Asia, and Morocco. It was a trilobite with a crescent-shaped head shield. Its eyes were located toward the back of its head, and its cheeks were broad. There was a fan-shaped tail which might have been used to propel it through the water.
Another organism is the Drepanthropus. Its group is agnathans, and its date is early Devonian period. Its size was 14 inches long, and it was located in Europe. It was the earliest known Samostan fish. It was small compared to its late Devonian descendants that could reach up to 6.5 feet long. It had a flattened head shield that featured a mosaic of small scale-like plates that separated the midline plates from the paired plates on both sides. The small plates appeared as the fish got older. You couldn't see this when they were young. Since it was flattened, they thought it was a bottom-dwelling fish. We didn't know how it ate because they had a jawless mouth that pointed upward. It had a paddled shape when it was viewed upward.
Another one of my favorites is the Stephacanthus from the group Chondrichthyans. Its size is 5 feet long, and it's located in North America and Scotland. Their outline is very similar to the outline of regular sharks now, but there are striking differences. The pectoral fins have a rod called the whip, which trails behind the fin. And the structuring on its back, called the ironing board, because of its shape, is covered with denticles, tiny tooth-like granulates embedded in the skin. There's also a patch on the head. Denticles were probably only present in males.
Another organism during the Devonian period is the Pandorictus. It dates back to the middle to late Devonian period. Its size is about 5 feet long. Its location is Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia, and Russia. It was one of the 3 known Devonian fish that showed many transitional tripod-like features. It has a more flattened top to bottom. Compared to most other fish, it had longer snout and big eyes placed close together on top of its head. They didn't have a hinged joint across their skull. It likely breathed air using a lung-like bladder to a big extent, additionally using its gills for respiration. It had rays on its paired fin and scales all over its body. Its fins on the back weren't there or small in size.
A really cool coral during the Devonian period is Calceola, from the group Anthrozyans. Its size is up to 2 inches long, the size of your thumb, and it's located in Europe, Africa, Asia, and Australia. It's a small, solitary, rugrose coral. The fossils are roughly semicircular in cross-section. Corallum or skeleton is often slightly curved. In life, coral would have rested on a curved side of the skeleton, which an individual member of the coral colony, sitting in a callus at the top, could be drawn closed by muscles contracting so that the polyp was totally enclosed and protected when it wasn't feeding. The hinge-like operation is preserved. When the coral was feeding, the lid would have been open, but drawn shut if the polyp sensed danger. Another one is the Rophelsteus. It's from the group Placoderms. Its size is 12 inches long, and it's located in Australia. It was known from a single complete specimen and a few bone fragments, a bizarre long-sounded fish that lived among the reefs of Western Australia. The rostral plate was greatly elongated, forming a tapering tube that comprised half the length of the head shield. The function of the tubular snout is unknown. It may have been used to explode buried prey on the sand and seabeds, or provide better streaming so the fish could hunt shrimp living near the surface. They had flattened crushing tooth plates at the back of their mouths, suggesting that small crustaceans and shellfish formed at least part of its diet.
That's all the time we have for this time.